Welcome to ITLS Academy. So today in this lecture we will going to understand the hazards which are resulting from the environment. So the first question arises in our mind that what are environmental hazards? So environmental hazards are the substances or they are the things or any event in the environment that are dangerous to the ecosystem. The Environmental Protection Agency, that is EPA, it is responsible for monitoring the environment for the hazards. So the EPA, that is a Environmental Protection Agency, develop and enforces environmental laws to protect the environment and human health. The agency is also responsible for ensuring that people have clean water, air and land. And basically, if we see the introduction part, it says that an environmental hazard can cause numerous effects on environment as well as on the social nature, which mainly creates some different types of consequences. So environmental hazards can directly affect the human being also and can directly affect the social nature also. And it is so adverse in nature that it can deteriorate the quality of the ecosystem. So in addition to it, if we talk about the effects on the health of the people that is caused by the environmental hazards and which involves some natural types of disasters in today's world. So apart from it, it includes the toxic chemicals, biological or physical agent. So all these toxic chemicals, biological or physical agent we have covered in the series of food safety officer. So you can refer to lecture number 5 for this broad classification of toxic chemicals, biological and physical agent, and also pollution in natural environment. So these environmental hazards include the first step, which is environmental risk assessment, which poses a diverse effect on the human health. Now let us understand the detail of the environmental hazards. So already told you that these environmental hazards, they are very much dangerous for the health event, even they are very adverse and for the ecosystem. So this hazard, they faces some other factors also, like physical factor are there, chemical factors are there, and some biological factors which can be natural or at sometimes they are man-made. Okay, so in addition, for example, environmental hazards such as air, water and soil pollution from transportation, agriculture, industries and other resources such as chemical, toxic waste, radiation. So if you see around yourself, now today's the air quality of different cities in India is so it is so polluted that you cannot step out of your house without wearing a mask. So what is this? This is the environmental hazard that is caused by an air pollution. Similar cases with the industrial waste also, it also causes different types of water pollution, because different types of industries that that eliminate a very toxic waste, and these toxic waste goes in the water bodies, and when the fishes inhale or intake that types of waste that is present in the water, they get died and the water get polluted. Okay, so these are different types of hazards that are causing a serious threat to the ecosystem. So it is the time for every people on this planet earth that they should cut the pollution, okay, and make the earth sustainable for the living. So apart from this example, let us take another thing, that is another type of hazard, such as the hazard resulting from the chemical, biological or physical agent, and can also deteriorate the quality of human activity. Natural hazards also include some difficulties such as earthquake, volcanic eruption and flooding. Nowadays in the news, earthquakes are so common. If you see, years and years back, there are hardly any cases of earthquake. Okay, I'm not talking about the major earthquake that has taken in different countries apart globally, but nowadays earthquakes are so common. Like after 1 or 2 months, you feel the earthquake. Recently we have faced a earthquake of 4.0 magnitude. Okay, but why, what is the reason? So all these reason is the hazards. All these are the reasons that the man-made activities and different types of hazards that are causing the threat to the ecosystem. Apart from the earthquake, volcanic eruptions are there, there are flooding. Okay, so all these are serious threat to the ecosystem as well as for the in human life. So now there are numerous categories of environmental hazards. For example, there is a physical hazards, biological, chemical hazards, culture practice related hazards, and social hazards. Okay, so now coming to let us take an example also to understand this in detail. But before that, let us take the small paragraph of the categories or types of environmental hazards. So if we talk about the environmental hazards, so environmental hazards come in different forms. Okay, that is, first is the physical hazards, second is the metal and radionuclides. Okay, so how these are affecting? So physical hazards, chemical hazards, or biological hazards. So these includes pathogenic hazards as well as the poisonous plant. Whenever we are talking about the biological, so they consist of the poisonous pathogenic hazards or poisonous plants. So physical hazards, they cover a very broad categories. If you see, so they are covering the major types of metals, major types of heavy objects, and they also creates a impact on the ecosystem. Apart from this, they there is another type of hazards, that is a chemical hazards, which includes the pesticides, lead, toxic substances. And apart from these, physico-chemical hazards are also there, and they sometimes included as a type of environmental hazards to human health. And these hazards typically include different types of violence and from the environment. So let us take an example to understand how human created and naturally occurring environmental hazards. Okay, so I'm just writing a heading for the better understanding. So human created created natural occurring occurring environmental hazards. Okay, so let us take an example to understand this heading, that air contaminants such as air pollution that results from the manufacturing and production and have been in escalated by human and technological system. So this air pollution, they results in a very negative health consequences, such as the damages of respiratory, immune, reproductive system of human. So live in a very that are those humans that lives in a very highly polluted areas. Okay, similar case is with the microorganisms. So microorganism, we all are aware of the microorganism, that they are so toxic to human health. So microorganism that includes the viruses, includes bacteria and other infectious pathogens. So these pathogens harms living organism. How? By attacking the immune system, resulting in the arrow of negative health consequences. Even Some plants species they are also that are naturally occurring in environmental hazards. For example, harmful plants includes the different types of poisonous ivy which cause skin irritation in organism, and that can cause into a contact with the plant. Water hemlock, which resemble the edible persimmons and poisonous, an organism that consume the plant, and nightshade, which produces the berries that are poisonous when ingested. Okay, so these are certain examples that are caused by the human created and naturally occurring environmental hazards. Now comes what are the causes of environmental hazards. So why there is so much of environmental hazards? So what are the causes? So the main causes of environmental hazards is high population growth. Second is industrial pollution. So with the alarming increase in the human population, there is a more and more demands of the land, there is a more and more demand of the resources. So people are deteriorating the quality of the ecosystem by fulfilling the needs of the people. Okay, large and large industries are being developed or constructed in the forest area, leading to the deforestation. So yes, high population growth is the major factor or cause of environmental hazards. Now, the second is industrial pollution. So, the waste from the industries also create a major impact on the hazardous substances that can cause the degradation of ecosystem. These industrial waste are so much toxic in nature that when it comes in contact with a water body, it deteriorates the quality of water and leading to the contamination of water, as well as it leads a serious threat to the water bodies. For example, threat to the fishes, threat to different types of water bodies or water animals that inhale or they intake that particular water. Then comes the mass poverty. Then it's a vehicular pollution, increasing urbanization, pattern of economic growth, increasing in the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. So as we are taking the causes of environmental hazards, so one thing is very common, that is urbanization, that is the high population growth. Because since when there is a major or a large population, okay, so everyone needs different kinds of resources, everyone wants land area to fulfill their house need, and different industries, hospitals, and everything is building. Where it is building? By cutting the forest, deforestation is being done so that more and more land can be occupied through these activities. So the major cause of environmental pollution is what is the high population growth. Because when the population increases, so it directly increases the urbanization, increment. So and this leads to the environmental hazards. Now, what are the examples of environmental hazards? So it all the examples of environmental hazards and the degradation, such as degradation of land, soil, degradation of water, atmospheric degradation, and also the numerous kind of pollution which can cause a numerous difficulties in working behavior and also in human beings. So all examples are increased in numerous area which causes the greatest and diverse effect. Other examples such as air contaminant, toxic waste, radiation, disease causing in microorganism and also in plant, pesticides, heavy metals, chemicals which are all in consumer product, huge temperature and weather events. So these are some examples of environmental hazards. So I would like to add one topic to it, one heading to this, and this is again very important. So what are the steps of steps in environmental hazard assessment, means how you can assess the environmental hazards. So the heading is step in environmental hazards. Okay, it is a short form, steps in environmental hazards assessment. Okay, so what are the steps? So this is the heading. So this has this environmental hazard assessment, you can say that it is a systematic process that gives companies a comprehensive understanding of the threat they faces. Okay, so it is not a very cyclic process, no, it is a very systematic and continuous process, and to which the basic aim behind these environmental hazard assessment is to have a comprehensive understanding of threat that a company may face due to environmental hazards. So basically what they are doing, they are enabling them to implement, means they are enabling who, enabling the companies to implement measured prevention and migration strategies that protect their operation, workforce, and the environment as well as the community they belong to. So what they are offering, again I am writing, so they are offering the, they enable the companies to measure the prevention. Second is migration. Third is the protection. Okay, and these three things, means the prevention, migration, and protection. So this assessment, that is environmental hazard assessment, they enable the company, means different types of industries or company, they enable them to have the prevention, migration, and protection of their operation, workforce, and the environment, as well as they also focus on the community they belong to. Now, what is the first step in this environmental hazard assessment? So talking about the first step, so the first step is, means step number 1, that is conduct environmental, I am writing the short form, sorry, conduct environmental risk assessment. Okay, so the first step is what, conduct environmental risk assessment. Okay, under this heading, what does it means? So it is the first step. So the first step is to accurately identify and evaluate the likelihood and consequences of environmental safety hazards. Okay, so the first step is only for the identification as well as evaluation of the likelihood and what are the consequences of environmental safety hazard is. So under this process, it helps the companies, okay, it helps the industries as well as the companies to understand the impact of a specific operation or project, or guiding them in making informed decision about migration measure. Okay, so the first one is just to identify and evaluate the likelihood as well as their consequences. Now moving to the next, that is step 2. So the step 2 says, step 2, so under the heading of step 2, monitor report and forecast condition. Okay, so this is the step 2. So in step 2, What is it is saying? It is saying the to monitor means these tasks are very crucial. Okay, whenever you want to monitor or whenever you want to generate the report or forecast the conditions, so these tasks are crucial, and they allow the environmental and health safety teams to detect the hazard promptly and respond faster. So they help take help of the another body, that is environmental health and safety, and they ask them to detect the hazard promptly and respond very faster. Using the state of the art technology tools helps organizations to monitor the condition in real time, report environmental data more efficiently, and predict the potential risk. Now comes the step 3. Step 3, engage with the workforce and local communities. Okay, so this is the step 4. Oh, sorry, step 3, that it involves the employee and general public in the environmental hazard assessment process in buildings the awareness, ensuring that on a ground state or sorry on the ground insight are considered, and foster the collaboration. In this particular step, there is the responsibility that is to promoting the environmental protection and forwarding the company's goal. So this is the step number 3, that basically it leads to the awareness of how to protect the environment and what a company can do in safeguarding the environment. Now comes the step 4. So step 4 says collaborate with regulatory agencies and expert. Collaborate, collaborate with regulatory agencies and expert. Okay, so step 4 says that regulatory compliance should be placed front and center when implementing any environmental initiative. Since this impact people's health and safety, so building partnerships with the regulator early in the protect the life cycle, ensure the migration plan align with legal requirements. So sometimes it is very important to have a collaboration with the regulatory agencies and as well as with the experts, so that you can implement the initiative to save the environment by having a knowledge that is being shared by the regulatory agencies and the expert, because they are so much expert in their work. So consulting with expert also helps to ensures the independent assessment that increases the company credibility. Okay, now comes the last step, and that is the step 5. Step 5 says regular review and update okay. So the it says that there should be a regular review and as well as the update. Okay, environmental data. Okay, so under this heading says that environmental conditions and their subsequent risk changes over time due to the climate change, due to operational modification, and due to new regulation. So conducting a regular audits, a similar case that when a food industries undergoes the audit. Okay, so it check what are the causes, कहाँ पर मिस्टेक हो रही है. तो रेगुलर ऑडिटिंग से क्या होता है, सो यू कैन keep an eye, and regular audit say you can review the environmental data and sharing the update with the stakeholder ensure that the organization can adapt a new risk and continuously improve their hazard management policy. So this is again one of the best, or you can say, initiative that any industries or a company can take, so that there would be a very least environmental hazards that can be caused by the companies. So this is the steps. So that brings to the end of the lecture, but before ending the lecture I would like to share what are the means, whose are the person that are so that can have a serious threat of these environmental factor. So like people's they if you see the toddler, so whenever a toddler is exposed to so much of pollution, so it leads to the diarrhea, respiratory diseases. Okay, and sometimes of neurodevelopmental problems then can be occurred in toddler. Whenever you are even the when the pregnant woman, it she is exposed to the harsh environmental conditions and hazards, so it will directly impact the fetal and the developmental windows of the susceptibilities to environmental exposure. And even the adult also, it can lead to the cardiovascular diseases, sometimes cancer and overweight. So there are different types of impact that can be caused by different types of hazard on the large group of population. So it is again very important to eliminate the hazards, so that nobody can be harmed from these hazards, and everyone should lead a life very happily. And and we as a citizen also, we should always keep in our mind that we have to save the environment for today as well as for the future. Because if if we are doing the we are degrading the environment, so at the end of the day we are the only person who will be who will face the consequences of the environmental hazard. So it is very important for every person to save the earth for the betterment of tomorrow as well as for the present. So I hope you have understood the lecture. If you have any doubt, any query, you can simply reach out to us by dropping your queries in the comment section below. And you can follow ITLS Academy, and you can subscribe our channel on YouTube. And this is our helpline number, that is 7080833450, and you can simply call on this number and get updated. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, don't forget to press the bell icon to get more update on the lectures. Thank you very much.